voices.
Listen to the voices
They
that
will whisper
in your sleep.
You are with the chosen,
with
but
the chosen,
you must choose for
you
yourself.
must.
So weird. I think we got a problem with XSplit.
We heard the sound of something at the start of it, which was like a game or like a intro to something.
Yeah, and I think I know what that was. So, can you hear me okay now?
Oh, there it is.
No, we're here now. No, it's coming through now.
I think XSplit's got a messed up thing somewhere. I'll have to look for a patch for it. But anyway, welcome to another edition of Whiskey Gaming, where we can never get an intro right, because we always mess up the sound, or I do. Let's put it that way. We've got Caleb here today. Say hey, Caleb. Can you guys hear me in Discord?
Yep.
Can hear you now, yeah.
Okay.
I can in Discord, but not on the stream.
Are we dead on the stream?
No, we can hear you on the stream, yeah.
Okay,
we
good.
can hear you on the stream now.
Good.
It's all good.
All right,
we're now good.
We're good. McLeod. Say
Oh, there
hey.
we are.
Hey.
We got RW. Looking a little dark today. We need to get that boy some lights. Caleb's there with super secret stuff on his whiteboard behind him.
Upstate, as always. Hey, guys.
Always. And we've got Scythe there on the comms.
I am too drunk for this chicken.
You're not too drunk for this chicken. You're sobering up from
I'm
last
too
night.
too hungover from this chicken.
Oh, gotcha. And we got Zarker. Hey, Zarker.
I had to figure out which order it
world.
was.
And I am distracted up here looking at my TV because there's America's Cup sail racing on. I'm crazy. Boys, do you have all your do you have your weekly drinks? Because we're gonna start a segment where everybody. Well, actually, we're gonna have a common drink in future weeks, but this week we all brought our own. What do you
I brought water.
Water, because you're
because I drank a fifth of bourbon last night, and that went smart. You know, sometimes that's too much bourbon in one night.
What's the matter? Were you hanging out with Boat or something?
I was I used Boat getting fucking shit-faced as an excuse for me to get shit-faced, and it worked out well.
It worked out well.
Did it improve your FC skills?
Except
no, it improved my Symmetra skills in Overwatch, where I got to play the game where I team killed twice in a row.
Ooh.
And team kill on this is you kill the enemy team, not a friendly.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
That makes it sound all the better rather than all the worse.
Team kill.
And we had so many people and trying to fit people onto the screen here just before the show.
So what's everyone drinking
I just brought
today?
coffee as always.
You bought coffee? Well, I'll show you what I got. Since, you know, it is the holiday weekend here in the U.S.
You could very easily Irish that up, Caleb.
Seriously, man. Put some amaretto or something in there. Bailey's?
I don't have whiskey or anything like that. I do have some gin, but I don't think gin and coffee work.
It might if you do a little bit. It'll give it a little, like, Christmas tree flavor.
No.
Don't do it.
No.
It won't work.
All right, so since it's the holiday weekend, I have beer. Just a little beer, not a big beer. You know, just little here.
I'm drinking a wonderful Deschutes Brewery Pacific Wonderland Lager.
That sounds like the gayest you've ever heard.
Lager? Are you lagging that
Oregon,
pot?
so it probably is a little gayish, but...
All right, there you go. Explains my suspicions. They were.
That was not a little beer. That was a tub. I could bathe in that.
That is approximately 2.5 beers in there. I gotta top it off a little bit here.
Yeah. You do that, you alcoholic.
So right now in America's Cup update here, we've got the United States versus New Zealand, the bikers versus the grinders, as I call them. So okay, so what's our? So we're working through the drinks. I got somebody pinging me, Caleb. Okay, you got there. And what is the other thing that we wanted to talk about early on in the show? You want to start with T3 Cruisers and Eve?
God, no, that's all you will talk about if we do that now.
No, I'll limit you. We have a time limit. We got segments we've got to do, and eventually we're going to have some nice segment transitions, so it'll be pretty cool.
This will be nice because, like, having done talking stations earlier on and sort of seeing the talking points and having my own kind of like input that I want to put in there, but I can't because I can't. You know, it's kind of nice because I have an output on the Whiskey Gaming Show, which is good.
There you go. You're up first then. Let's hear it.
Well, what in terms of the T3?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
T3 changes. I think you know the original premise of the T3s, like they never really did what they asked them to do because the design kind of wasn't really how they like they designed it like a normal hull, but with just a bit of interchangeability, right? With some kind of ability to sort of change the various different bonuses that they had in it. So obviously it's going to end up becoming you know, you're going to end up with only a few select fits that are going to be really like that are going to be the most powerful of those kind of versions. But like that's the thing, like, you know, when you get to that kind of point, like especially when you lock in the ability, you know, your rig selection, so you can't change it. You lock it in to you lock that kind of those fits in to being just those fits, and you can't utilize the strategic aspect of the strategic cruisers in the way that it was meant to be. So, you know, I'm glad that that was one of the main things. Like, I'm glad that they actually, you know, made that change of like, you know, you can put the rigs in, but you can pop them back out again just as easily.
Yeah, that was a really nice addition. I think my personal view is that it might be a pointed towards CCP moving back into something more healthy when it comes to what is powered how. Like that, potentially Tech 2 should be the most prevalent and higher end, and then Tech 3 should be versatility, and then all that faction stuff should be really rare.
I think there should be. I think the one stumbling block that I do still see it kind of that they might actually still have with utilizing T3s as a, you know, a changing kind of doctrine for the specific kind of situation is every single kind of strategic or kind of tactical decision when it comes to sort of fleet selection and, you know, the selection of which particular doctrine versus another particular doctrine. A lot of the times you can figure out what kind of doctrine is going to be played against you by the logistics that are. The point is that it should be a Swiss Army knife, right? Well, yeah, but like, you know, if you see a shield fleet, right, you for the most part invariably think, or it's going to be a keep at range kiting kind of doctrine. So you're going to have to try and grab hold of it and keep it, you know, locked down. You know, whereas if you see, you know, a bunch of Guardians and a bunch of Veneruses with a T3 fleet, you know it's going to be an armor doctrine. So you know that it's going to be one of those doctrines that are going to basically land, hold its ground, and kick the teeth in of anything that's around it. So even with that, you know, you kind of know what kind of doctrine you're going to be coming up against, even if it is a changeable T3 doctrine. So breaking that ability to,
you know, those ships in real life, the ones that can be interchanged to different functions.
Yeah, our new cruisers.
I know that if we had someone like Robbie here, he would talk at length about it. But I know there's some of these that are extremely easy to change from one function to another, and I always thought that was the intention, to keep costs of diversification low, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That would mean that other ships that might be more costly, and then you would have to kind of choose whether you want to get the higher power at added cost, or if you want to just go for the cheaper versatility stuff.
Yeah, the way I kind of see it is like, you know, what if you're gonna be creating a ship that basically keeps people guessing as to what it is. Because of its ability to adapt and to, you know, change and sort of, you know, be able to mold itself against the, you know, fleet that are already there. You know, you have to do something about the ability to be able to understand what the fleet role is going to be like when you actually see the logistics that are attached to it. So I'm drinking vodka and Coke.
As
Vodka and Coke?
Gross.
As a new player to EVE, I'm kind of excited for the T3 changes because I really can't fly one yet. So I'm hoping that would make more of the strategic fleets that are going out, not so many T3s, but doing more battleship stuffs instead of every time a T3 fleet goes out, oh, great, I'm going to go do logistics instead of being able to blow something up.
Oh, you missed the battleship doctrine, didn't you?
Last night?
No, he missed
the
potato
Baltec.
fleets.
Baltec.
Oh,
and
Baltec fleet, yeah.
Baltec
Old school
and,
Baltec fleets.
Yeah.
Having five Baltec fleets up at one time.
Jeez, Baltecs
Missed
are fun to
that
fly.
day.
I liked them.
So how do people feel about the Blood Raiders? Do you think it's going to end up being as farmed as the faction?
I don't
hope
think
so.
they're going to happen as much as the faction, right? So I think
they need. I think the underlying kind of code work for the AI needs to be worked a bit more. It's never going to be correct as it comes out the gate, and we kind of realize that by now. But I think if they carry on working, like essentially, I kind of see it as like there's going to be a playbook that people like know how to do it, and essentially what they kind of want to do is they want to design it so like, okay, this is the playbook that that has happened on this particular occurrence. Do this, do that, and that kind of thing. So having the AI able to follow down different paths based on different sort of players have done this, do this, kind of like having multiple paths of that based on what they bring and what the ships are doing on grid will really help. And I think they just need to build a few more of those paths.
Yeah, I think they realized they made some big mistakes with the current AI out the gate of the Blood Raiders stuff, right? I mean, when you can take 4 guys and you can, essentially reinforce the thing, might be an issue, don't you think?
Well, I mean, the Russians brought 4 supers and like a Titan, what have you, like 3 supers then a Titan to actually do it. So, but like, when you can do it with 100 or so guys in, T1 frigs, it's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, the lost thing, but I'm also worried about the whole proliferation of it, right? We're going to get Guristas after this, and then the next and the next and so on. It's just how long is it going to take before we end up having the faction versions of Supers and Titans?
Well,
similar to Macarials, right? Is it going to totally outdate the traditional ones?
Well, I get early on in the history of EVE where they had ships that were kind of similar across all 4 factions, that they, they didn't have a lot of ships in the game. But I think we've come to a point where, hey, you know what? You don't need the same ship for every faction. Let's start doing ships based on theme, right?
I just think that if we're ever going to see a Mola conga line, I might actually flip tables.
Oh, you're going to see it. You'll see it.
I want to mow a conga line. It works.
Yeah.
It's just a proof of a point, right? Every time players do that, it's kind of slapping CCP in the face, saying you did this wrong. In my opinion,
I don't know that you did that wrong. So the use of a ship, right? I really find the whole rebalancing a little bit of a pain in the ass. If you have to rebalance all the time, it's like you're trying to make every ship's equal and everybody start using different ships, and then work to decide the new premier ship for Doctrine. That's all rebalancing does.
Oh, I'm mostly thinking about rebalancing for proliferation. I'm not so much thinking about balancing for power, right? It's that if you have intended that there's only supposed to be 10 of these in existence, and you see that the players reach that goal within 2 weeks, you have to put some more strain in there. You have to add build cost or something, man-hour cost, anything to make sure that it does not end up with gate camps with Titans, which is, in my opinion,
Well,
ridiculous.
you know the really funny thing was, like, a lot of the times when I saw like a ship balance pass, right, and they would nerf the crap out of the things that people were being being overused. Like, for example, when everyone and their friend was going on the 100 meganewton afterburner heavy missile launch Tengu, right?
Right.
When everyone was doing that, and then they just went, fuck it, we'll nerf it to the ground kind of thing. Like, I always saw that as kind of like an interesting kind of way of CCP kind of going, right, guys, now you have new goals for you to train into, for you to sort of, buy the skill books for, in order to train drones better, in order to train sentry drones, and then everybody uses sentry drones, and then they kind of nerf that, and then something else props up. So, people have new goals to sort of train to. Well, now that we've got skill injectors, like, that's instant. There's literally, like, the people who, have money and stuff can literally just buy a bunch of skill injectors, rip out that, or even rip out some skills and just re-inject it into the new hot shit, which is kind of funny because there's no downtime between that. There's no kind of like, oh crap, okay, right, we're going to have to train this, and while we're doing that, we're going to have to kind of figure out something in like intermediate. In like an intermediary between that and when everybody's trained up to actually use the hot shit.
Yeah, it's now catch-up mechanism, right? It's so we don't have that whole huge gap based on time, which was retarded in the past, right?
I agree, but I mean, you still, for the older players, right? That gets old. Even skill injectors, right? Because if you're extracting them from yourself or whatever, you're still losing skills, right?
Eventually. Yeah, I mean, eventually what happens is, like, for old players, eventually it's like, it's cyclic. It comes back and around. It's like, oh, well, heavy missiles are back in.
Yeah.
Great. I've already trained that to 5, like, fucking 3 years ago or something.
That almost brings on the whole bait and switch thing that CCP did with mining, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was crap, and everyone had just pulled all their skills out when the injectors came, and then they boosted the rock, and then everyone had to swap back. It was so
everyone, funny. So many people I heard of so many people who basically went in, was like, okay, well, they've removed this, and now mining is the best way to get ISK. I'm literally pulling all of my alt characters, all of the skills for carrier ratting out of my characters, and re-injecting for oracles. It's just like,
what do you think genius. I'm training right now for that exact reason? I'm training planetary interaction because I had pulled everything out of that shit because I hate it like with a passion, and it's horrible. But now I'm just training it just in case CCP does something similar and goes, oh look, new shiny PI interface. Like, okay, I'm gonna get back into that.
Please.
Well, they change a few things where suddenly, well, I mean, in the same way that it was like a long time, fairly long time ago. Like I'd be fairly thorough when it came to sort of doing my PVE. So I'd do my PVE, I'd blow everything up, and I would come in and I'd scoop up all the modules, break all that stuff down into minerals. Well, for the most part, anyway, and also get all the salvage from it, right? So I had this and it slowly stockpiled. So I had this of salvage materials that was not really worth. And then when I came back after all the cells and all the rigs and stuff, like suddenly one of my little stacks of salvage is now worth like 3 billion ISK, and I was like, what the fuck?
Oh jeez. Is it just me? Is it just me, guys, or McLeod? Are you going a little robot?
Everyone's gone robot.
You're crystal clear.
I think it's being dumb.
Hey, I want to give a quick shout out right here to Argeel for the follow. Thank you. And by the way, just to remind everybody, if you are out there watching the show and you'd like to be part of the conversation, right? If you comment, we will certainly bring that in as part of our conversation, as well as if you are in Imperium Discord and you can join that from the link on Imperium News, you can come down into the coffee table and we will pull you into the stream and let you comment live. So, you know, if you want to be a call-in caller, you know how to do it, right? So, yeah, sorry. Hopefully we got the sound cleared up a little bit here, McLeod. Why don't you continue on?
Oh, I was just saying that, you know, it's kind of funny because, you know, I had this big stack of something that was worth nothing, and then it was worth a lot because people brought in something that required a lot of that material, and suddenly it was worth it. So, you know, it's funny how, you know, in the whole bait and switch thing, that sometimes that can happen for even not only just, you know, skills, but also for actual in-game as well.
Okay, this is horrible. I'm going to try a reboot.
Yeah,
you
we're
sound
all
you
full
sound
robot
fine.
kids.
It's you
I'm just
sound
going to
fine,
restart
Caleb.
Discord. Hang on.
Actually, you guys sound better now.
So if you,
Yep.
Oh, no.
My
Okay, that's fine.
latency is still
it could be a Discord
very bad,
thing, right?
I
Because it's
think.
going through Discord, and you know, little America's Cup update.
Russia.
Amazingly, because I thought they were going to get their ass
Oh,
kicked.
God.
America appears to have beaten
Koreans.
New Zealand in race number 1 in the qualifiers.
Boop.
There's McLeod. He's back. This beer is good. Start to the weekend. Everybody is restarting their connection to Discord.
Oh, wait a minute. Now it's turned green.
Caleb, do you hear me okay?
Oh my god. No,
They're
it's
all
bad again.
robots.
Okay, sounds like we're having some Discord sound issues, right? So we apologize to the stream. We're having a little issue with the sound over Discord. Something that's a little bit out of our control, but we'll try and muddle through it as we go here. How about I take some time? What are we done with the T3 stuff? We want to move on to some of where do we got more on it? I just have a problem in general with the number of ships that we have out there. Hey, Caleb.
Can you change the stream codec?
Seriously, what happened?
You can change your codec in Discord, but it just kind of went crazy. It's probably Discord having some traffic problems. You sound
it
fine
sounds
to
like
me, Caleb. I don't know if I sound okay to you.
Nah, you keep going a little bit robot, but it's getting better, or just got a little better now. And anyways, yeah, I think we finished the G3 thing.
Okay.
And there's so much to talk about on that topic, really, and it's already cycling through the whole media thing.
So the game you wanted to talk about there, Caleb, what was that called again? Looks like I lost everybody on sound here in Discord. You guys aren't sounding up in Discord. Sorry, folks, on the stream, we're having a little bit of trouble here. Caleb and McLeod, click on Discord for me. Hey, McLeod, you and Caleb, I'm getting no sound from Discord. Pardon us a little bit on the stream while we try and fix Discord here. We do apologize.
Eric's back.
Yes, yes, yes. There, I can hear you guys now. Looks like Discord had a little challenge there, huh?
This
Eric's
reminds
the
me
robot
of something.
What'd you say, guys?
Oh, we get some of those nice comments in chat. Like, yeah.
I know, it's lovely. It's like-
Because you can't hear any of us.
I blame
It's
Eric.
like, God damn it, they all shut
always
up.
Eric's
This is
fault.
great.
It's always Eric.
He's running the entire Discord server, and yeah.
He's running the Discord server, all of Twitch. So if you're watching, like,
I'm gonna have another
anyone else on
drink.
Twitch, also us. I mean,
I'm gonna have another
Holy
drink. I gotta start
shit.
drinking this beer. I keep filling it up from the last beer that I have here.
I just don't even. This is so robots.
Arigato, Mr. Roboto.
So robots, right? Hey, well, Caleb, you wanted to talk about a game, and that's where I was going next. I was going to run that video. What was that game again?
Exactly.
I just dropped
A little bit.
couple packets there for a second.
Yeah. For a second, you mean like all day?
No, it was just 240 packets.
This
It was a
this
quick
this
look.
reminds me of something, by the way.
So, Caleb, I was going to say there, and the stream has heard this 3 times, right? What's that game you wanted us to talk about? And I'm going to run the video from that after you mention it.
He says endless space to a man.
Well, I think you asked me about the game that I was going to talk about. The game that's now been out for quite a long time, but it's going through a relaunch where they are changing and tweaking some of the functionality, and they're going to relaunch it as a free-to-play model. So the Secret World is now 3 or 4 years old, I think, maybe more.
Okay.
But they are going totally free-to-play and relaunching on apparently new servers and with a whole new combat system.
All right, well, let's. I'm gonna run
Nice.
that video here.
I'm just hoping that I can get some of that magic back of playing it, because it is maybe one of the most amazing, at least narrative-wise, MMOs I've ever seen.
All right, let's see if we can.
It feels like playing a point-and-click adventure in the old days, but in totally upgraded and a lot better quality, right? With really good voice acting and
It's not
extremely
turn-based,
good
is it?
writing. No. It's now changing to aimed action, so you don't have the tapped mode anymore, it's interesting. It's trying to do that Twitch mode thing to get away from the World of Warcraft tap targeting and
The
almost
Secret
F1
World?
stuff. Yeah, it's called The Secret World. It's from Funcom. It's the guy that's called Ragnar Törnqvist that used to be that was the producer, and he's done a lot of really big point-and-click adventure games. So this was his attempt to do a adventure and mystery-based massive multiplayer game. The MMO part's not necessarily that good. They kind of work, but they are trying to fix that with this relaunch to get it more into the MMO feel of play, right? But the storytelling, the characters, and the zones are amazing.
Alrighty, I'm going to run that video then.
Be mindful of the voices.
Listen to the voices
They will
that
whisper
whisper
in
in
your
your
sleep.
sleep.
You are with the chosen,
with
but
the
you
chosen,
must choose for
But you
yourself.
must make the right choices.
You are cursed with free
You
will.
are cursed with free will. We are here to guide you to the light.
It's not my place to intervene, but then this,
if this is merely a dream.
Make the right
Make
choices.
the right choices. And be mindful of the voices that whisper,
They corrupt.
for they speak the truth.
Alrighty.
So basically, what happens is that you start out your character going from the mundane world, and then you go straight into the mystical and magical world of the secret world, right? So it feels very much like maybe people that actually played pen and paper World of Darkness role-playing games. It has the same ambiance and feeling. And an interesting little fact is that the bees are the good guys.
That's scary, right? Hey.
The bees
are the good guys in Eve too. What are you trying to allude to, Caleb?
Gasp!
They are the actual good guys. The bees are what is transporting the power of magic to the players, so they can go and fight the filth.
There we
So
go.
basically, the bees in this game are the midichlorians of Star Wars.
Pretty
right?
much exactly that. Yes, they are the good guys that are creating the heroes, and the heroes are then fighting the filth, which would be, I don't know, Reddit.
Is there any like dinosaurs and mechanical spiders in there too?
Mechanical spiders, maybe a little bit, but no dinosaurs. At least not when I left.
Mechanical dinosaurs, maybe.
We can hope, but yeah, it's a really good game from the storyline. It takes you through all these different zones. So you start out in a very American gothic horror like zone that looks something like stuff coming out of a Stephen King novel or something like that. So I think it's very much similar to a setting in Maine. That's pretty much what it feels like. This small town with a harbor, and then you got these sea zombies coming in, and you have to fight them off. And a lot of stuff with all these secret societies. You have these three big societies: the Illuminati, the Templars, and the Dragons. So it's the Americans, the English, and the Japanese, basically. And then the whole story just unfolds, and you go through all these different zones, Egypt and Japan, and yeah, it's really, really well made. The London scene is amazing.
Cool. I've never played that
Be
game.
interesting
So,
to look at that, yeah.
Be interesting to see what they do with it. I'm still excited about
So
it.
I was hoping that I could convince a lot of the Imperium to go and do some sort of army of Illuminati players and just troll the fuck out of it.
Troll the fuck out of it. Hey,
That would be kind of funny. Like, sort of cult kind of thing inside the game.
It's a
Yeah,
bee
really
cult. It could be a
flaunt
bee
that
cult in the
Eye
game.
of Providence, right? Who knows? We might even be able to convince them to make a special Black Eagle hoodie.
Black Eagle. Yeah, ooh,
That'd be
yeah,
pretty cool.
Black Eagle.
I mean, you know,
It's not impossible. They've done it a lot in the past.
Yeah, I mean, the Black Eagle kind of cape that we had in Arcade was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I thought that
Yeah,
was
and
pretty cool.
the in the beta, the people that took part in that, which was an ARG, we actually got special hoodies from the Black Watchmen. That was the group that did the whole ARG introduction into the game. So everyone that played that part, they have these exclusive items that no one else has in the game.
And they can be worth not knowing things about exclusive items and limited availability. Electronic items have become a big thing in terms of like people making money off of them.
Yeah, vanity. And
That's true,
I'm not
that's true.
Sinuria, but I must admit that when I was playing the Secret World, I was pretty much collecting all the clothing that I could, just so I could run around and playing wardrobe.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
So, so I'm sitting here. I'm watching one of the replays of one of the earlier races in the America's Cup. So I wanted to go with that next. Just real quick, not spend a lot of time on it because it's not a game-based thing, but it's a pretty cool, fun sporting event that used to be boring as shit if you ever watched it, right? So back in the
It
80s,
used
back
to
in the
be.
90s.
Back when they were using super slow holes.
Yeah, it would take 2.5, 3 hours to run a race. I have sat here and watched Great Britain and Japan bang their boats together 4 or 5 times. I mean, they're just getting fucking nasty. It's amazing. But I wanted to run a quick trailer for the American Cup.
boats aren't and those boats aren't exactly like, you know, they're not exactly lightweight or, you know, able to slice into each other. They're, you know,
They're big.
seriously they're pretty big, and they have a lot of speed and momentum with them. And if you know anything about catamaran hulls, like they are like almost like knives.
Yeah, they're not really in the water anymore either, right? They're foiling above the water. Last America's Cup, I know they were going 46, 47 knots, right? Which is, or almost in the 50s. But they were, they're going 30, 40 miles an hour essentially. And that's pretty fast for boats on the water, right? They used to get like, 5, 10 knots used to be a big freaking deal in these races. So I just wanted to run the video real quick. It's real short. If you've never seen America's Cup type racing, and by the way, it's not the United States Cup, right? This is the America's Cup because the America was the first boat that won it. And it was actually Queen of England, I believe, McLeod, who did that. It's one of the oldest, if not the oldest, sporting event in the world. So I'm going to do a quick run of that. These guys went from wearing overalls and bibs to wearing helmets. This is just over about a minute.
Hello and welcome to Bermuda. God, it feels good to finally say that. The clock has been counting down for over 2 years to get to this point, and now the entire America's Cup cavalry are here on Bermudian soil to get ready for the first official racing of the 35th America's Cup.
That's right, and it's amazing how this entire island has come together and gotten behind the America's Cup, whether it's here at the America's Cup Village or working for all of the 6 competing teams or hosting the entire world. And I think this is going to be the best venue that the America's Cup has ever seen, and it's because of the passion of the Bermuda people.
And you can literally feel the crackle of anticipation in the air as the island gears up for the first official racing. And the first phase, of course, is the Louis Vuitton America's Cup qualifiers. But we'll talk about that later on. First of all, let's see what's coming up in the rest of the show.
As you can see, the key is keep those pontoons out of the water and foiling above. And it's not really a sail now, it's really a wing that they use. And the 2 favorites again are Team USA Oracle and Fly Emirates New Zealand.
After a massive collision, Artemis Racing takes the race. Fantastic fashion.
The video overlays, McLeod, that they put on these races are really cool too when you're watching them on TV.
Oh yeah, totally. I love them, man.
Yeah, just got a little taste of it right there. It'll come on the screen.
I don't know how they do it. I'd love to know how they do it, but like, yeah.
And again, no power. All the hydraulics are powered from human power. Look at that. So it takes 2 years to get to the final, and right now, today is day 1 of the qualifiers. It's on, I think NBCSN right now is replaying the races from earlier today. And so they'll go through the qualifiers, and the winner of the qualifiers will face the United States in the
You're not seeing that in Discord, Eric.
Yeah, if anyone's talking, I can't hear them.
Oh yeah, so they can hear me on the stream, it's not you, because of the way I have to have Discord in the foreground in order to run it.
Yeah, it's a little bit stupid.
I know. We need to fix that. Discord needs to fix it. But yeah, it's quite amazing.
Yeah, and this is where you can segue into the other topic of this week, right? The whole AT tournament thing.
Ooh,
the E version of sports.
The E version of the America's
Cup.
E version of the America's Cup.
Yeah, there was a new rule, and then the tragedy that CVA didn't actually manage to get a team on because the executive director didn't have time to get the bid in, so they're out for for the first time in 13 years.
Oh wow,
Nice.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks big time.
I need more beer.
I think they're very sad that they couldn't actually get on. So, but I heard that Bastion's got a team on this year.
Should be interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. So yeah, I mean, I did not watch that last year, but I need to. I will probably watch it again this year as we go into that tournament. One of the other
because things are heating up, right? A little bit. Like now we have the Hunger Games from the Imperium and even T doing tournament events, and then of course CCP. So there's a lot of content being created for the EVE Sports stuff.
It is.
It's cool that that EVE NT have been kind of like chosen. Like, I mean, I know we like Imperium INN kind of would wish it would be us, but like I think we still need a little bit of work to do, a little bit kind of like
I think the Imperium brings an important thing to it, right? They bring the tribalism and the cheering and the fans.
To some degree, yeah. But like I think it's a nice kind of it's a nice thing for CCP to kind of basically say to at least some degree of their community, we're happy with you hosting the feeder tournament into it.
Yeah,
I think that's really positive thing.
And there's a lot of potential, right? If CCP plays their cards right, they could end up having a lot of esports potential content developing, right? If we get success with Valkyrie and they start doing sports-like things on Valkyrie, if Project Nova actually launches as a decent and playable shooter, you got that as well. And then, of course, you got the most sporty game coming out with Spark. That means that you could almost have an esport convention only on CCP brand stuff, right?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. I think we'd all be very excited for that. I mean, a lot of us, we say and write. I mean, all of us here, we say and write critical things about what CCP does with EVE Online and various games and things like that, right? But nobody should misconstrue that for the desire for everything that CCP does with all their games for being successful, right? We all want them to be very successful.
Yeah, because they bring that extra something to the table that, well, we were talking a little bit before we went on the stream, we were talking about other MMO creators, and everyone seems to be lackluster these days, whereas CCP still has some sort of, well, at least a little bit of extra oomph that makes you go back to it all the time, right?
Well, that's because EVE, in particular, right? It isn't all about EVE, right? It's not. They've kind of realized.
They've kind of realized there's a symbiosis. There's a symbiosis, like between CCP and the community, and they realize that. That's the cool thing about CCP.
And they're getting good at actually promoting it, right?
Yeah. And they're getting good at allowing us to be the freedom of being able to talk about it and write about it and criticize it, but but also be able to give them positive feedback about their game and take it on board and actually kind of do something about it.
Absolutely.
I just like that they are putting it. They're putting the players first in the narrative these days, even more so than they've ever done before. I think it's something that's really only started being effective the last 2 years because they really put us up in front. So doing the interviews with the players when there's events and stuff like that. With there was World War B or the Casino Wars, and then you have
World War. Really?
No,
but there was a lot of focus on the players, right?
I don't really care at this point. But
I don't care that you said World War. I just think the World War piece is just dumb, right?
Well, yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from an RPG.
You could call it the intergalactic war against the Bee. Okay, I'd actually be okay with that. It's just the fact that you're not Earth-centric anymore. You're in a game with like 5,000 worlds. Get over it.
Mm-hmm. Either way,
galactic
the way I kind of like to see it, the way I kind of like to see it with the whole kind of CCP actually acknowledging and integrating more of the player-driven kind of stuff is, I mean, if you go back 3 years, you know, and think about the scope videos, would you have ever thought that CCP would make a scope video that actually names players inside of it?
No, I wouldn't. That's exactly my point. And I'm looking forward to the point where we have to have semi-professional speechwriters in case CCP actually wants to interview leadership or FCs. So the quality of the commentary would be on par with, say, the latest Blood Raider video.
What, you don't think that Boat was amazing when he had the Boat and Villy interview for World War B?
Well, I'm thinking something a little bit more high pros in the realm of Sir Muller throwback and stuff like that.
I thought he was engaging, he was excited, and he was happy. I loved his interview. Billy was like, I can't believe
it was pretty tongue-in-cheek, but it was nice. Yeah. I liked it. It was very Boat.
Yeah, hey, I want to spend the last 10 minutes here because I did ping it out. RW has been engaged, and he and I were talking so much earlier today on Skype that I delayed his effort. He's doing a lot of work with his liquid-cooled PC he's working on behind him.
Ooh. He's making me one too, right?
I mean, that looks like a freaking nitro pack on the back of that PC rather than a liquid-cooled canister.
Got the Imperial logo, like it should. Because
I'm sending you a B sticker.
If you can get me a B sticker, I will put it on there.
I have one. I have like 5.
In terms of liquid cooling, like, I mean, Reisman, are you? Is it like a custom loop? Are you?
Yeah, completely custom loop. I'm custom bending all the tubing.
Oh, it's hardline. Nice.
Oh yeah, he was showing me how to do that and how to heat it up and everything earlier.
Yeah, I keep getting interrupted here, but
that's pretty hardcore.
I mean, just doing simple little things like this, completely custom bending my own bends, shaping the whole tubing for the whole loop, reservoir pump, everything.
That's awesome, man. I've thought about it, but like that whole stuff, that kind of area to me is like pretty scary because I'm although I know that like I would be really really I'd be really. I just saw Caleb like
with his bee
flying a little.
Is it squeak, Caleb? Is it squeaky bee
on the Whiskey Gaming Show?
So you're saying that you're scared to get into water cooling?
I'm kind of scared to get into the custom loop kind of water cooling. I do have water cooling on my CPU at the moment, but that is all-in-one kind of
self-contained systems. That's actually where I started, was with a Corsair H2O. There's the H60 self-contained unit until the pump went dead on me one day and I didn't know it, and then my computer shut down and I didn't know why, and I spent 4 or 5 hours trying to figure out why, and then I finally found out that it was the pump that went dead, and then from there I switched over to a completely custom loop. But for those that are first getting into water cooling, the first thing I would suggest is don't go crazy with the water cooling, because it's really easy to dump $600, $700, $800 into water cooling stuff. But that's if you're going with all the crazy fittings and putting fittings at every corner, and the high dollar pumps and fans for your radiators and everything else, and the hardline tubing. The hard tubing is really the worst part of building a custom loop, and getting those bends just perfect and get it to bend exactly where you need it to bend. What I suggest is go with the soft, the silicone tubing instead, with the regular compression fittings. It's much easier to cut the tube to length. You just, a pair of scissors, just snip it, and you've got a tube, and you can do all kinds of weird, freaky formations with it. But it's the hard tubing is where you really got to sit and concentrate, and you'll spend hours and hours doing it, just trying to finish one computer.
I just like that the kits that you can buy now for water cooling are so easy to install. I was very reluctant in actually starting to do water cooling. Then I bought a rig that had it already installed because I wanted something very silent. And I've been so pleased with it that I then decided to install water cooling in the second rig.
You were
Well,
saying
the water cooling that I have, like just out of just like in terms of my kind of perspective on it, like I bought water cooling because it's essentially the motherboard and CPU that I have. Like I knew that I was eventually going to overclock it at some point, some way, shape, or form. And I was there thinking to myself, well, I'll get water cooling, then I can overclock it, and it'll be fine, kind of thing. But I didn't overclock it for such a long time. I finally, like, probably within the last 2 months, actually have, and it's gone from a 2.95 base clock to a 4 gig clock.
Wow.
And that's on 6 CPUs, and that's the water cooling keeps it at the moment. The CPU temperature is idling at the moment on between 50 and 51, but generally under full load it only goes up to about 60, 61 maybe.
That's pretty
amazing. I still don't dare do it. I used to do a lot of overclocking, and I know that it's perfectly safe now, but I've burned so much hardware on it, so I stopped doing it entirely. And I'm sure that eventually I might actually get back into it because it does give you that extra oomph. It's just, it feels a little bit like tuning your car. If you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to end up breaking something. And I don't really feel like wasting and losing hardware anymore. I think it's a little bit too expensive.
Yeah, really, with the overclocking, I mean, it's really the main reason why a lot of people switch over to water cooling is so that they can run all the overclocking and really push their hardware to the limit. And the water cooling makes it so much easier to do that. Nowadays, people are switching to water cooling just to show off their artistic talents, per se. People have come up with some really crazy designs for their computers. One guy, he's got a fish tank built into his computer, and
I just love that it doesn't make any noise,
cool
right? The sound thing is amazing. The fact that it's totally silent.
I just want to point out, putting fish in a water cooling system, probably not a good idea. Mostly for the fish. If it gets too hot, the fish are fucked.
No, the water cooling system is separate from the fish tank itself.
Oh, so they're not.
You're not watching the pipes and seeing fish just like fly down it.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
I was going to say. I was going to say.
In a goddamn water cooler.
They're just feeder guppies. Who cares?
Yeah. What he did though is the tubing that he used for his water cooling was actually the same tubing that he used for the air lines and the filter lines on the fish tank. So it all intertwined together inside his computer case, and it all looked like it was all tied into one system when it was actually 2 different setups.
Wouldn't it be fun to do that slow cooking thing and combine it with your water cooling system, so it kept constantly at 73 degrees, and you can basically put your meats in there, and then you have a cooker and combined with your computer.
What is that, sous vide cookers or something like
that?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's 73 degrees.
I'm going to tell you what, that shit works. It makes real
amazing.
Good steaks. You sous vide them up for a little while, and then you throw them on the grill to get the char, and they're delicious. But that takes way too goddamn long.
I think you might have issues with particulates in your system.
Yeah, that'd be the issue.
If you do that.
Definitely.
No, but it's a cheaper way to do the whole temperature control, because you can just set your BIOS to actually control it and set it exactly at 73 degrees. It's going to run your rig a little bit hot.
I don't think it's going to work.
Run IDA 64, just solid.
Hey,
nice.
can't you just wrap some steaks in some aluminum foil and just throw them on top of the CPU and get a better char?
I've done that. Yep, done that. I shit you not, my old piece of crap laptop used to get to like over 100, and I would put a Pop-Tart on top of where the GPU was, so it would heat my Pop-Tart up when I was in college because I didn't want to go get the toaster.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. We're gonna get a new follower. I'm not gonna say his name, but it's certainly humorous.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ghetto version of water cooling your PC.
Yeah. Dodd's cooking his eggs on his CPU. See that? Dodd's cooking some eggs. Hey, we've got 3 minutes. We want to give a shout out to if you don't know on this stream, we've got the Meta Show up next, and we're gonna see how much Gatorade Bodas drank today, right?
He needs his electrolytes.
I hope a lot. I tried to catch up to Boat, and I failed miserably.
Yeah, you did fail. You did fail, but yes.
I drank an entire bottle of bourbon. I don't know how much Boat drank, but it wasn't that. It was more than that.
He almost made it to the open comms, almost, but he just failed just on the line.
I think he actually made it to open comms, and they told him to go to bed.
I don't.
I distinctly remember. I distinctly remember that Dirk read something from Boat, and it was almost it was almost incongruable. Like you couldn't understand it. Like it made no sense. It had the word Nix in it, and it had the word safe in it at some point, and like he was just like, yeah, okay. I don't think he's going to be coming on. I think he's pretty wasted right now.
No, I think he's fine now. He should be fine now.
Yeah, he should be fine now. He's probably,
Gatorade through a crazy straw. I'm sure. That's what I would be doing. I would not have made it that far. Half.
Boat's whole message was probably something about he got into some place that he shouldn't have in his Knicks, and he had the safe log.
And there's a sinister cabal somewhere at some point.
Exactly.
Goddamn cabals.
He was rocking it though. He was really doing well
last night, talking like, man, all these cabals. Like, what? It's like, I'm no coward.
It was a good stream. It was a really good stream.
Oh,
that was a fantastic stream. I loved it.
Were you there when Chandran actually did the singing as well?
No, I wasn't. Was that?
Oh, Shad,
that
yeah,
awesome.
Shad singing.
And very inappropriate, but yeah, he was singing some very inappropriate songs. It was very fitting for the theme of the stream. It was very
By the way, if anybody on the stream has not caught Shad Dragon's stream himself, he is a fantastic streamer. He is he's just very engaging.
Oh, man.
He's great.
Seriously, someone stop me playing SWOTOR, please. I need to get off this.
All right, we got 1 minute left. I want to say
the Revan freaking storyline is super good.
All right, guys, we're going to have the drink of the week
now
next
I got to
week.
do the Fallen Empire or whatever. The other one.
Okay, guys. We got 1 minute. We're going to throw it to the meta show. Everybody say bye. We're going to have the drink of the week next week. We'll announce it in advance. Everybody will have it. It'll be crazy.
Be Bailey's in a shoe.
Bailey's in a shoe? Is that
if you choose something that can only be bought in America, I'm going to hate you.
I would never do
I'm
that.
going to do the Irish trash can.
We got to work together.
I'm planning on. I think I'm gonna have to drive to Virginia tomorrow to see if their liquor stores have my new brand of bourbon, so I can buy a bottle.
Alrighty, guys.
Anybody?
They don't. Sell
anyway,
it in my
like everybody say bye.
Bye. Meta show's up next. Go enjoy it, guys.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.